Hello, everybody, and welcome. Happy Sunday to everyone. I am Amber Rochelle. I am an intuitive life coach for highly sensitive women, and I am here today to talk to you about captaining your own ship and coming home to the truth of your inner badass. I'm also going to give you some details and some insight into my new program where we just opened the doors last week to the Sensitive Badass 6-month coaching mentorship. This is my baby. I am so excited to tell you guys all about this. So if anybody is watching live right now, be sure to comment below. Let me know that you're here. Say hi. Tell me where you're tuning in from. I know it's Sunday and I know it's Super Bowl Sunday, so a lot of you guys are probably watching the game, but hopefully we'll get some people hopping on live here. So let me just adjust this. Sorry guys, my lighting's a little off. There we go, that's better. So I really want to fill you guys in on the details of this program and tell you why this program is so profound and why it's so important and why it's something that you might be interested in, why it's an amazing opportunity for self-connection and for healing and for growth. Before I dive into the details of the program, I just wanted to talk a little bit about this idea of captaining our own ship and what does that mean and what does it mean to come home to your inner badass, right? Like, what is that? So a lot of times, well, let me say this. So when I was growing up, I felt like I was sleepwalking through life. That's how it felt to me. I felt like I was just responding to the things that were coming at me. Like, rather than actively and intuitively in designing my life and intentionally designing my life, I was just kind of reacting to everything that was thrown at me. Everybody's feelings, everybody's needs, circumstances in my life. And when we are sensitive and we grow up sensitive, especially if we are not taught what that means and taught how to relate to it in a way that is healthy, we're very naturally outward focused, right? Like, we take in so much information from the world around us. And because we're tuned into the feelings of others, we're not only taking in, visual information from the world around us, but we're picking up on energies and emotions. And then we are also natural people pleasers, right? We have big, huge, beautiful hearts. We want to give, we want to heal, we want to help. And that in and of itself is a beautiful quality. But what tends to happen is that we're so outward focused and we're looking so much at what everybody else needs and what everybody else wants and how we can just survive and get through this world that can feel so noisy to us, that we don't learn how to connect back within to ourselves, to our truth. And so rather than connecting to our own needs and looking at what do I want, am I living my life in a way that supports me? Am I living my life in a way that makes me happy, right? We don't really ask ourselves these questions. And so we end up overwhelmed and exhausted and anxious and depressed and depleted and completely drained. And from that place, we really can't do much to give to other people anyways. And the other thing that happens for us growing up sensitive is that we're very often talked out of our own truth, or we allow ourselves to be talked out of our own truth. So what will happen is that, I'm sure you guys will nod your heads when you're hearing this, a lot of times we get feedback from the world around us that is, why are you so sensitive? Why are you overreacting? It's not that big of a deal. Why are you crying? People don't understand us and they don't understand the way that we're experiencing the world. But in our child mind, we take that feedback and that information and we make it mean something about us rather than meaning something about them, right? We make it mean something about us and we go, oh God, there must be something wrong with me. Maybe I can't trust what I feel. Maybe I can't trust what I see or what I experience. And so we then even further disconnect from ourselves and from our truth, right? As a way to survive, as a way to, be liked, to belong, to be loved, because that's what we all want at the end of the day. That is a human basic need. But we learn through this process of growing up and not understanding our sensitivity to look outside of ourselves for validation, to look outside of ourselves for worthiness, to look, hi, Rochelle, to look outside of ourselves for everything, right? And we're so disconnected from ourselves that we can't even hear at a certain point our own truth, the voice of our inner guide. We can't even hear our own needs. And if we do, we feel guilty showing up for ourselves. We feel guilty giving to ourselves because we feel like if we're giving to us or if we're taking care of us, it's somehow taking away from us, being there for other people. But the truth is that there is no limit to your love. There's no limit to your love. You can love yourself and still fully love and show up for other people. In fact, you will do it in a much more, helpful and authentic way if you're showing up for yourself and loving yourself. So this is what I'm talking about when I say the words coming home to yourself. You guys have probably heard me saying that a lot lately as I'm talking about and promoting this program that's coming up. Because there's a process that has to happen where we have to almost reintroduce ourselves to ourselves. We have to come back to ourselves and be willing to listen and willing to get to know ourselves and to spend time with ourselves and to nurture our relationship with ourselves. And we have to grieve, the real, true, raw pain of not always getting that validation of your worth or your enoughness from the outside in the way that we've sought it. And so this is the process of coming back home to yourself. This is the process of giving yourself the things that you've always looked outside of yourself for, right? And also, when I talk about your inner badass, here's what I mean by that. Because you guys know I call myself the sensitive badass, right? And there's a reason that I call myself the sensitive badass. Because growing up, I was always told that I was weak, that I was too much, that I was too emotional, that, I cried too much, I was too dramatic, I was too deep, I was depressed all the time, all of these things. And I believed them. I believed all of them. I thought, oh, I am weak. There is something wrong with me. I'm very flawed. That's how I grew up believing. And that only compounded this searching outside of myself for validation that I was doing, right? It just made me do that more because I thought, there's something wrong with me. I have to make up for it. I have to prove myself. I have to prove my worthiness. I have to prove my lovability. And the truth is that those of us who are sensitive are carrying an extra weight on our shoulders, an extra level. We're taking in so much information from the world around us, and the world can feel so noisy, but we get up every single day and we go to work and we take care of our kids and we show up for our friends and we do all the things that everybody else does, but we have this extra layer of stuff that we're dealing with. So to me, that's not weak. That's actually really kind of badass and strong, right? And so it's just about what we're telling ourselves and what we're letting ourselves, listen to. And so coming home to your inner badass is realizing that you have so much strength inside of you, so much resiliency. You just have so much, but you haven't connected to it. You haven't connected to your power. When you come home to yourself, when you come home to the truth that you are a complete badass, that is when you start to give yourself validation. You start to decide that you are worthy, build your worthiness, build your foundations, build your strong roots, so that when you go out into the world, you're not knocked off your center as easily. Things don't throw you as quickly, right? Because you have this connection to your inner compass. You are in charge of the ship. You're not just sailing around the waters, being knocked around by the emotional storms of everybody else around you, which is how it can feel sometimes, right? But when you really solidify your connection to your truth, to your inner compass, you stop doubting yourself, you show up for yourself, you take care of yourself, and explore what you want and what you need and let yourself start to dream. That is when you start intentionally designing your life rather than sleepwalking through it and just letting things happen to you and reacting to them as they do. So all of these themes are things that we're going to be exploring within the Sensitive Badass 6-month coaching mentorship. And I created this program because I know that it took me a very long time to learn this stuff, to walk this journey, to find my way home to myself. And it doesn't have to take that long, and it doesn't have to be that hard. Finding your inner power, finding your inner fire, your inner badass, and really thriving in life and not just surviving is so possible for every sensitive woman out there. And I know this because I live it. I live it every single day. And I want nothing more than to bring this magic and this toolkit and, this process to you guys. And that is why I created the mentorship, because it's very difficult to do this work alone. It's incredibly difficult to do this work alone. Those of us who are sensitive, we often feel very misunderstood because people don't experience the world the way that we do. And so we find ourselves explaining ourselves, apologizing for our feelings, right? And it doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to feel that hard. And so within this mentorship, not only do you get one-on-one access to me, where we're going to have 3-hour-long sessions a month where we can dig into, everything that's going on with you, get you through that process of building that strong foundation, reconnecting you to your truth, reconnecting you to your confidence and your fire that exists within there. But you're also going to have 10 other amazing sensitive women in a very sacred, safe space container that are going through this process with you so that you can see that you're not alone, so that you're supported not only by me, but by the other amazing women that are also looking to do this inner work. And the thing about this stuff, you guys, is that we're all looking for a shortcut, right? Nobody wants to have to do work and to deal with this stuff because it can be hard, but it can also be extremely empowering and fun and freeing. So liberating is how I would explain this work. And the thing is, this is the shortcut. There's really no way out but through. And so why go through it alone when you could go through it with a coach who's walked this journey before and a group of women who are all willing to show up and support each other through this process? And that is what this mentorship is really about. It is going to be powerful, transformational, profound, all the things. And I really am going to give you my complete 100% all. There's so many amazing bonuses. There's a ton of stuff that goes into it. I have put the link up above in the descriptor for this video, so be sure to go check out the mentorship sign-up page. All of the details are on there. And if you have any questions, or if you're feeling called to this, but you just don't know if it's the right time, you're not sure if it's the right fit, you're apprehensive, anything like that, reach out to me. Send me a Facebook message or email me, amber@amberrochelle.com. You can also schedule a consultation session with me. This is completely free. It's just a chance for us to get on the phone so I can get to know you, you can get to know me, you can kind of feel what it's like to have this support, and you can ask me any of your questions about the program. And together we can figure out if it's the right fit for you. Because I don't want anybody signing up for this that doesn't feel 100% in, that doesn't feel 100% called. This is an empowering decision. This is a gift that you're giving yourself. This is going to reignite you in your connection to yourself and really set you up for the rest of your life, right? The stuff that we're learning in this program is a lifelong gift. So if you are feeling called to this at all, if you're resonating with what I'm saying here, I invite you to check out the mentorship sign-up page, which is up above, the link up there. As soon as I end this live, I will post the link below to schedule a 30-minute complimentary consultation call with me if you want to get on the phone and talk this through. And then you can reach out to me at amber@amberrochelle.com. I can't tell you how excited I am about this. We have 10 spots, 2 have been taken, so there are 8 left. And I really invite you to explore this invitation to come back home to the truth of who you are, to come back home to the inner badass that has been in there all along, and to take your power back and start captaining your own ship. So I hope to hear from many of you. My schedule is open next week for taking consultation calls, and I am so grateful for everybody that watched this video. Reach out if you have any questions, and I will be popping back on live tomorrow. So feel free to tag me as well, and let me know if you have any questions, and I will address those tomorrow. Hi, Joanne. And yeah, thanks for you guys for being here, and I'll be back soon. Happy Super Bowl Sunday.